So we're back by the River Danube in Svishtov, one of our favourite places, and let's show you a little bit more of the supermarket we mentioned a few months ago. It's come into its own because Billa was closed down and people needed another supermarket to go to, and Billa has now reopened, but I have a suspicion that quite a few people are probably going to stick with this one, particularly as it has a built-in pharmacy or apteka. And this is definitely one of our favourite places to eat. It's the Trumpet on Kaleto Square, and you may have noticed in the past that it has a horse chestnut tree right in the middle of the outside eating area. Well, at the right time of year, or shall we say the wrong time of year, if you sit out there, you could either get hit on the head by a conker or scratched badly by one of the unopened shells that comes down. They clear this regularly, but no matter what time you go, you will get pelted somehow or another with these things. They have umbrellas over the tables. You think you'd be sheltered from the conkers by them, but no, they come in from all angles and they get you in the end. Ruth got hit by one of the spiky ones, and a few days later she still had the marks on her arm. I'm pretty sure I haven't noticed these signs before. They're up all around the Svishtov area, and both in Bulgarian and in English they tell you about the various monuments and buildings. The Monument of Donors I've filmed before but not really known anything about it, and it says on the sign that the two hands are the symbol of the noble act of donation and an embodiment of everything beautiful built in Svishtov. And an amount of 5 million golden levs was donated for the creation of the highest school of economics in Svishtov, and you will see it several times during the course of this programme from different angles. The clock tower was built originally in 1763, and an inscription in Arabic on 2 marble plaques offers details about its building. Well, no wonder I haven't understood what it was all about before. There's a lot of information here, and in 1890 a new clock made in Austria was installed. A little bit further on from there you'll see these 5 heads as you walk towards that Academy of Economics I was talking about. I'm in Svishtov, and behind me is the PR club. We had lunch here yesterday. We're actually under some trees now. That's normally a good thing because it shelters you from the sun, but it seems to also be attracting flies, so they're buzzing around us again. I've been trying to go up onto the hilltop to go to the sundial, the human sundial. That whole area is shut off. We normally go around via the westerly route. Couldn't get anywhere near it, so the PR club is the clue to getting up there from the easterly route. There's an old disused nightclub and things like that, and we're going to go and see if we can get in that way. But something's going on that hilltop, and I intend to find out what it is. In the meantime, I'm just going to move away from here and show you this. This is a children's playground, and not only facilities for the kids, but for the adults to sit and have their natter. So the parent place is there. I might go and sit in there for a bit and see if it's out of the flies. Trying to see what was going on in Kaleto Park, we couldn't see a thing from ground level. Good job we had the drone with us, because we were able to fly up and look at it from different angles. And as you can see, they're building something, and we wondered if it was some kind of theatre, because you can see seating curving round, similar to what's in the amphitheatre. So perhaps a new amphitheatre is being built right here on the top. There's still access to the Kaleto Hotel, which you can see just over on the right. In this view, we're looking back down the street at the PR club, and we're at a kind of junction here where the signpost is quite helpful, because one day we were looking for the post office and it's listed here. The Macedonian Grill still has the takeaway area, which we've used for years without realising it belonged to them. And just opposite from there, they've put up a new supermarket, and as it was a pretty warm day, I went in there and got us some ice cream. Then it was time to take the road round to the west side of Kaleto Park and climb up the hill to get the view that people who live in the houses along there get. It looks down on the bus station area onto the dock road, if you can notice that, and of course across the river. So I've just been down to the end there to have a look over the Danube. From time to time we do actually see a cruise liner in there and the ferry and things like that. It's very nice here. This is the other side of the park, the Kaleto Park. This is the side where there's a church, and the access to the sundial, the human sundial, and the amphitheatre is normally up there, and it isn't at the moment because of all the work they're doing. So I've still got the drone with me. In fact, I was going to talk to you with the drone filming me, but it was too noisy, so reverted back to the old camera. But we're sending the drone up over Kaleto Park from this side to see if you can see any more than you could from the other side. As the drone rises up above the trees, you start to see the area where the amphitheatre seating was, and I'm going to fly it over there in a minute, but first, with it being such a clear day, I thought it would be nice to have a look around. So looking back to the west, across the town, and once again you can see the bus station down below. Move round a bit and there's the docks and the river Danube. Takes a couple of shots to appreciate just how big that area is, and here it is coming into view, the amphitheatre area, and it's got these rather large dugouts. They're sort of coffin shaped, but I think they're too big for that. There's the central stairs that used to go through the seating area. The seating's all been dug up. They've left the stairs down through the middle. And I'm going to speculate on what these cutouts might be. Now, you can see a road coming down from there, which is used by the trucks. And it appears to be closed off to the public, but I decided, as it was quiet, I seem to remember this was a Sunday, that I would walk up there and have a look round. The sundial's definitely gone, and there are these oblong cutouts. I'm wondering if this is to be some kind of foundations, and it's going to be filled with concrete and they're going to build something new here. But I think it'll be a few months before I can discover what that is, so we'll come back another time. Back in the town and on the main road, I wonder if you can see something that's changed in these pictures. In this shot I'm standing on the paving that used to be throughout the town, and ahead of me you can see the new paving they've been putting down. Looking back the other way, I'm standing on the new paving now. I'm wondering if they're eventually going to do the whole street. This is a section they were still working on when we came this way yesterday, and the whole pavement was closed and we had to walk in the road. So now it's finished and there's some building materials left around. I wonder if they're actually left over. I could do with some slabs like this for the driveway at my house. So, our stories of Bulgaria, and I sit here with a glaring sun, and I've never actually bought any sunglasses, so I seem to manage, but if I squint a bit, that's why. I'm sitting on a balcony with sort of echoey sound around here, and I've got a tremendous view, which I'll show you in a while. But first of all, I'd like to talk about our experiences in Svishtov. You may be familiar with booking.com, where you can select a town, and I would select Svishtov, where you can then click view on map, and it shows you all the properties in Svishtov that are available for you to stay in. Now, there's not that many in Svishtov, and they range from, as you can see, £130 odd a week. That's a weekly rate, not a daily, and up to £209 if you can spot that one. That's the Nove Hotel, which we have stayed in from time to time. Well, this time there was a new venue advertised when I came to book, and it was called the Live in Bulgaria, or Live in Town Bulgaria, Bulgaria Town. But the key was Live In, and I spelt I-double-N, so we thought it would be an inn or some other such place. We had to pay in advance. It was non-refundable, so were we taking a risk? Well, I didn't think so, but as it turned out, that was quite a risk, as I could never get my money back if it all went wrong. And it did, but not in the way you might think. Now, look on the map, you'll see where the location is. It's stated as being 400 meters from the center. Now, they define the center as the area where the main church is and Billa. That's regarded as the center, so it's 400 meters from there. But I also know the area, so I could see on the map that it was on the corner of a street where the French cafe is. So I couldn't see it on Google Maps at the time, and if you click on Google Maps at that location and bring up the pictures as you can, you'll not see any sort of accommodation. You'll see a single-story shop. So we set off, we took the train, and we arrived at Svishtov station. I ordered a taxi, and I showed her the printed out booking.com form for this venue, and she shook her head. She said she'd never heard of it, and I said, well, that address? No. So I said, well, it's by the French cafe, and she says, French cafe, I take you to the French cafe, is that okay? I said, yes. So we got out by the French cafe, had a good look round, couldn't see any accommodation at all. I took my own photos, don't know who took the Google ones, but my own video shows the corner where this property should have been, and as you can see, just shops, so didn't exist. I thought, well, I'll have to use the booking.com messaging system, and I got a message back from that saying, come down to the Dunav Hotel, and I thought, okay, maybe they're handling the bookings, I'll be able to go and pick up the keys there, and they'll tell me where it is. No. There was a girl on reception when I got there, and she offered me the keys to 3 rooms in the Dunav Hotel, and which, by the way, is Bulgarian for Danube, and it does have the views overlooking Kaleto Square and in the distance the River Danube. However, I've stayed in that hotel many times before, never been totally happy with the service that you get there. Then the rooms are very small, I'll show you those later, but not a lot we could do. I questioned it with the girl. She said, I don't know what the answer is. I'm just doing what my boss has told me to do. And her boss had told her to give us a selection of rooms on the first floor of the Danube Hotel. They all look the same, and certainly not the luxury that was promised. By the way, I'll show you the advert's graphic, which looks like this. And it promises a luxury room. We expected this would be a place for the first time that we could stay and cater for ourselves, because what we look for when we're away is a home away from home. We were disappointed, not a lot we could do because the girl was under the instructions from her boss, and the venue that we were booked for doesn't appear to exist at all. It's, well, let's use the word, it's a scam. You cannot advertise a place that isn't there. The Danube Hotel is 700 metres from the centre, so definitely couldn't be confused with one that's 400 metres from the centre. We are not happy, and even if I'd thought of staying at the Danube Hotel again, that is now never going to happen. It may still be sunny here on some days, but it goes dark pretty early, so going out for an evening meal we had to find our way in the dark. If you know this area on the main road where the I-Bank is, then head down there to the left of the church, down to the bottom of there's a well-lit building, and just down the street nearly opposite is a restaurant that we'd not come across before. It's called Bandy. The food was really excellent. There's a place for the kids to play while you're eating, and my guess would be that during the daytime it's probably some sort of creche that they run here. Tiramisu number 3 this week. I'm testing them all. It's pretty much the best, I think. And from here it's just a 5-minute walk back to the Danube Hotel that we've been forced to stay in. Okay, am I getting too picky about the Danube Hotel? Well, let me tell you a little bit about it. Exactly the same reaction we had last year when we came, and as a result, when I've started coming back to Bulgaria this year, I haven't used it again. So we had our arm twisted this time in no uncertain fashion. It's still got unreliable internet. We picked a room with the router right outside the door, and there was still, it's a good Wi-Fi signal, but still no internet on this particular Wi-Fi signal. The rooms are quite small. They contain 2 single beds. The so-called kitchenette is just a kitchen base unit. There's no facilities at all. There's no crockery or cutlery. There was not even a kettle, not a microwave, not a toaster, nothing, absolutely empty. And so we had to go out and buy cardboard cups. There was a fridge, let's give them that. They did provide a fridge, so we could put some bottles of water and other liquids in the fridge. Then you've got this very small wet room. It floods everything when you have a shower, despite a sort of semi-partition. There's no light in the shower area, so you can't see whether you're getting washed or not. And generally the lighting in the rooms there is very poor, because there's one big overhead light which you're never going to want on. It's too glaringly bright. And there was one bedside light, if you can call it that, which was just behind the bed on the bed I chose. If I sat up in bed, I banged my head on it, and it didn't work anyway, so it was a complete waste of space. So we basically had the room lit most of the time by having the TV on. Exactly the same as last time we stayed there last year. They provided one toilet roll, ran out in a couple of days. They're very small and thin toilet rolls you get here. I didn't see any cleaners. In the old days of the hotel, when it had a different name, you used to see the cleaning staff up and down the corridor all the time. They were very helpful. They actually offered you extra toilet rolls, and would you like some clean towels, and would you like your bed changed? When we saw them in the corridor, we didn't see anyone for the whole week we were there. We ended up going to a supermarket and buying some toilet rolls ourselves. So far we've bought paper cups to drink out of, and toilet rolls for obvious reasons. There's a kind of reception cubicle downstairs which is sometimes manned, sometimes not, but mostly not. There's a lot of work going on in the hotel, and we kept finding our exit blocked. And when on the day we actually left, the main stairway going down to reception was completely closed off. The reason for that is they're putting in a lift shaft, which is probably a good thing, but it won't improve the rooms, and it won't make them into luxury rooms. This huge hotel with its long sterile corridors, it won't make it into a cosy building, which is how the live-in was described. A couple of other minor things which didn't spoil our week, I grant you. The bedding doesn't fit properly, so as you turn over in the night, it comes with you, and you wake up in the morning just laying on the mattress. The bins were never emptied, so we had to start using the bathroom bin as an overflow. We had to let a lot of rubbish pile up around the bin. The other strange thing was they only gave us 2 towels, not particularly big towels, no hand towel, or my wife would call it a hair towel. And so basically we had to use the same towel all week and hope it dried by the next day, and hope there was enough of it to completely dry our bodies. We're not the smallest of people in the world, so we expect to have a decent sized towel. Well, that's enough towel talk. It's the end of our visit to Svishtov, and we have one more night to spend here, so we'll wander around and visit all our old favourite places for one last time before we move on. See you next time.